Hi, I'm Charlotte from Twin Made and I run lots of creative workshops for my colourful studio in Cardiff. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make a weave like this one. It's really simple, you don't need very much and you can make your own loom. To make your weave you'll need a piece of cardboard, you'll need some string, you'll need some tape, you'll need some wool and some felt and any other bits that you've got that are flexible, a large-eyed needle, a pencil, and you might need a ruler and a pen. We're going to make the loom, so we've just got a piece of cardboard. This was just from a delivery I had, and what I'm going to do, have a top and a bottom, and then I'm just going to mark with a pen or pencil 1 centimetre from the top and 1 from the bottom, and just draw a rough line, same at the bottom, and then at the top just every centimetre. I haven't gone too close to the edge because then we can just stop there because there's only half a centimetre there, and then the same at the bottom, just mark roughly every centimetre, and then with a pair of scissors we're just going to cut at each centimetre roughly to that centimetre line we marked originally. And then the same at the other side. And then we're going to get the string. And on the back, starting at the first split we've got, we're just going to put it in like that. So we've got the end at the back and then that coming out the front. Just going to tape it down. And what we're producing is the warp of the loom. So we're going to go down to the one that's opposite and then back up to that one, down, and make sure it's not loose. It's going to keep going down, up, down, up, up. Don't pull it too tight that it's going to bend the cardboard, but that's perfect. You can see that's the warp of the loom that we're making, and then that's the back, and we can tell it's the back because it's got the writing. If you haven't got any writing on it, you could just write front and back on it. And then just a piece of tape, and we can cut that string off now, and we can just tape that down. Like that. And there's your loom ready to start making a weave. The first thing we're going to do is some tassels, and we're just going to add the tassels at the bottom. I've just got 2 really bright colours that I like of just the wool, and I want to make lots of different lengths of wool about the same length. The easiest way to do that is use your loom as a guide. So you're just going to fold it down and just going to wrap it round. And by doing it like this, it means that all our pieces of yarn are going to be roughly the same length. Keep going. I'm just going to keep going until that one runs out. Perfect. There you go. And then we're just going to get it. Make sure you don't cut through any of your string, and that means we've got a whole bunch of tassels. If you're worried about cutting into your loom, you can just use something else. I'm going to grab 3 strands for each one, and then to make your loop, you're going to fold it in half, and that's roughly where the middle is. You're going to make your loop, you're going to put it in underneath the first one, so you've got your loop there, and then you're going to pull the ends through the loop and pull it down to there. And that's your first tassel. And you're going to keep doing that until all the rows are done. if you've got a comb, you can comb it. Give it a comb, and also you can come down and just flatten it so they're all the same length like that. I've got a bit more, so I'm just going to do another layer. Right, next up we're going to do a plain weave. When we do a plain weave, we're just going to get some of the yarn and the big needle, and what you're going to do is you're going to go under one of the bits of string, over, under, and that will just create a nice loom. And then when you come back and do another layer, you go opposite. You could use the wool, or you could use any of the other bits you've got. For now, we're just going to use the t-shirt yarn. So I'm going to cut a piece about 50 centimetres long. Just going to thread that needle, and we can just double it over just to make it a little bit quicker. And then you're just going to go under, over, under, over, under, and you can pull it through. Just going to pull it through, and I'm going to leave a bit of a tail so we can weave that in at the end, and then over, under, over, under, over, under, all the way along. Hold on to that as you go. And then I'm going to do another row because I've still got some yarn left, so we're going to do the opposite. So we're going to go over, under, over, under, over, under, and that's what creates the weave effect, like that. Under, over, under, over, under, over. Pull it all the way through, and you can use your comb again or your fingers just to pull that down, and you can see that's done a plain weave. Got a little bit left, so we could go back one more row and just see how far we get. Perfect. And then I'm just going to cut that loop off. Once we're done, we can just tuck that into the back then. Just going to tuck it underneath so it doesn't get in the way of our next one. Perfect. And then we just use your fingers or your comb if you've got one just to push that down. Amazing. Looking really good. Next up, we're going to do some loops. Okay, they're exactly what they say there. We're just going to loop it through. It works the same as the plain weave we've just done. So we're going to go under, over, under, over, but we're going to use a pencil to create some loops then. So I'm going to use this glittery wool. Just going to cut quite a long piece because I'm going to double it over again. And by doubling it over, it just makes everything just a little bit easier. I'm going to thread that through that needle. I'm going to double it over. So exactly the same as we did again for the plain weave, but we're going to do the opposite to the top line there. And then what we're going to do is put a pencil in and create that loop. So we're going to go over, under, over, under, over. And then we're going to leave a bit of a tail again, not too long, just enough to tuck in once we're done. And then with the pencil, everywhere where you've gone over, just pop the pencil in and pull the yarn from the end where we've got some, not from that tail end. And again, you can use that pencil. We're going to go through that one, through that one. We're going to pick up that one. Perfect. Pick up the next one. Perfect. Pick up the next one. Awesome. So we've got a loop. So when you pull that pencil out then, in fact, you could pull it a little bit longer if you wanted. You've got your loops. So then what we're going to do is go opposite again and then do some more loops because we've got quite a bit left. got some nice loops. Our tail's ready to weave in. Trim that one off a little bit. Got our tassels, our plain loom, and then our loops. And then next up we are going to do what's called a sumac. So the sumac technique resembles a braid and it creates a lovely raised slanted look. So I'm going to use this netting I've got. So I'm going to cut quite a long piece again. I'm just going to do one strand this time. So you thread that needle. For this one, for the sumac weave, it's going to look like a big braid. So what we're going to do is we're going to just go under the last two from the centre out, like that. And we'll leave a bit of a tail because we can just weave that in at the end. And then we're going to go, oh, pulled it out. Leave a tail. And then we're going to go over 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we're going to come back in from the fourth one and back in through the second one. And that's what we're going to repeat. Over 4, back in 2. So that's the first one. And then over 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then back in under the 2. We're not pulling too. Okay, so we're going to finish the weave now. You can go right up to the top, but I think this one's pretty much done. So we're just going to flip it over and you can untape the ends. And then roughly in the middle, go along cutting the string. And starting at the bottom, you're going to get 2 of the strings out and then knot them, just do a double knot, so over, under, through, and just knot it close to where your first tassel is. 1, 2, nice and secure, perfect. And you're just going to repeat that all the way along. 2. Don't do them too tight because you don't want to dislodge your nice tassels. So just do it so it sits just next to them. I've got an odd number there, so I'm just going to get the last 3 and not 2 against 1. Oh, same again. Knot next to the tassel, and then a second knot. All those long bits of string now you can trim off. You can trim them close to the knot because they've done their job. And then same again with these two. First 2 out. Double knot. 1, 2. And again, don't pull too tight. You're just pulling it so it sits flat against your last row of weaving. Okay, we're not going to trim those top ones off yet because we've still got to attach the hanger. What we're going to do first though is we've got a couple of loose ends. So, got those bits. So I've got the glitter bit there, and the netting there, and the yarn there. So what we're going to do, this is the front of the loom, we're going to weave them into the back. So I'm just going to thread the needle with any of the loose bits. Going to flip it over and just thread it through so it's out of the way. And then once you've done that, you can trim that short. If you've got a short bit like that and you're finding it hard to thread the needle, I just put the needle through the back of some of the string, and then once it's in, thread that needle with the bit that you want to tuck in, and then you can put it through then. Just very gently because you don't want to squish anything. The orange bits we can just tuck in by hand. They can just go in under there. Perfect. And there. They can go under there. Out of the way. Tuck that one in. And that one we can just tuck in under that netting there. So make sure everything you're tucking in the back of your loom. We don't want it from the front. Just going to trim those bits off. I don't want them too long. I'm just going to get our piece of dowel and then separate out your pieces of string on there. So we're going to put one side up and then one out of the way, because what we're going to do is lie the wood over and then knot it on. So one up the top, one underneath, one at the top, like that, because then you can just put that on top. And then what we're going to do is knot that to it. One, two. And then any long bits of string you can cut off again. If you're feeling fancy, how about adding pom-poms or some ribbons? Now your weave is finished, we're just going to use some string to do a hanger. So you're just going to cut a piece of string twice as long as your piece of dowel, and then one end you're just going to do a double knot, and then the same again the other side. There you go, and again you can trim off any long bits, and you're done. Hang with pride, and then hopefully, because you know how to make your own loom now, you can make lots more. Don't forget to share your makes with us at TwinMade. Don't forget to share your makes with us. We're on Twitter and Instagram at TwinMade. Don't forget to share your makes with us. We're on Twitter and Instagram at twin_made, and you can find us on Facebook as well. Thanks for joining us today.